Next, let's dive into the fascinating world of numismatics, where a seemingly ordinary coin, the 1996 D Washington quarter, has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike, with some examples speculated to be worth an astonishing $19 million due to rare errors and mistakes that transform these 25-cent pieces into numismatic treasures. The 1996 D quarter, minted at the Denver Mint with a staggering mintage of over 906 million, is a common coin in circulated condition, typically worth just its face value of 25 cents, but certain imperfections, errors and varieties, elevate specific specimens to extraordinary value, making them some of the most sought-after coins in modern collecting. To understand why a 1996 D quarter could command such a jaw-dropping price, we need to explore the intricate details of coin production, the types of errors that can occur, and the specific anomalies that make these quarters so valuable, while also considering the market dynamics and collector frenzy that drive such valuations. Coin production is a complex process, involving multiple stages: designing dies, preparing planchets, striking coins, and quality control, each of which can introduce errors that, while undesirable to mint officials, are goldmines for collectors. The 1996 D Washington quarter, featuring John Flanagan's iconic design of George Washington on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse, was struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet, composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, weighing 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and 119 reeds along its edge. Despite its massive production, certain quarters escape the mint with errors that are so rare and visually striking that they've become legendary in the numismatic community, potentially justifying a multi-million-dollar valuation. One of the most valuable errors associated with the 1996 D quarter is the double die obverse, DDO, a mistake where the die used to strike the coin's design is hubbed multiple times, misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling of design elements, such as Washington's profile, the date, or inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust. For the 1996 D quarter, a particularly famous DDO is said to show doubling behind Washington's earlobe, a subtle but distinct feature that requires a magnifying loupe to detect, as noted by coin experts like those at Wexler's Coins and Die Varieties. This doubling appears as raised, rounded images, with split serifs or notched corners on letters, and the spread of the doubling can vary from wide to extremely close, making each specimen unique. A 1996 D quarter with a pronounced DDO, especially in high-grade condition like MS68, could fetch significant sums because of its rarity. Fewer than 50 coins are known to have been graded MS68 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, with a recorded sale of one such coin for $447 in 2013, a figure that pales in comparison to the rumored $19 million valuation but hints at the potential for escalation in a heated auction environment. Another error that could elevate the value of a 1996 D quarter is the off-center strike, where the planchet is misaligned during striking, resulting in a coin where the design is shifted off the center, sometimes leaving a crescent-shaped unstruck portion of the blank planchet. A severe off-center strike, where 50% or more of the design is missing, is exceptionally rare for 1996 D quarters and could command thousands, if not millions, depending on the coin's condition and the extent of the error. For instance, a 1996 D quarter struck 75% off-center, with a clear date and mint mark still visible, would be a showstopper at auction, as collectors prize dramatic errors that make each coin a one-of-a-kind piece. Similarly, a broad strike error, where the coin is struck outside the retaining collar, results in a larger, slightly distorted coin with no rim and a stretched design, adding to its appeal. Such errors are rare because quality control at the Denver Mint was stringent, but occasional lapses allowed these anomalies to slip into circulation, where they were later discovered by eagle-eyed collectors. Clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to an improperly cut blank, also add value, especially if the clip is significant, like a 5% or 10% crescent-shaped bite out of the coin, creating a visually striking imperfection. A 1996 D quarter with a double clip, two distinct missing sections, would be even rarer, potentially pushing its value into the tens of thousands or higher, as seen with similar errors on other Washington quarters listed on sites like yesterdayschange.com, where a 1965 quarter with a double clip sold for $19.95, though a pristine 1996 D example could fetch far more. Another intriguing possibility is a wrong planchet error, where a 1996 D quarter is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, such as a dime or nickel planchet, resulting in a coin that's lighter, e.g., 2.27 grams for a dime planchet, or made of an incorrect metal composition. A 1996 D quarter struck on a silver planchet, meant for a proof coin, would be a numismatic unicorn, as silver quarters in 1996 were exclusively struck at the San Francisco Mint for collectors, with a mintage of under 800,000. If a silver planchet accidentally made its way to Denver and was struck with the 1996 D dies, the resulting coin would be extraordinarily rare, potentially justifying $1 million plus valuation, as collectors covet such mint mistakes for their uniqueness and historical significance. The Coinage Act of 1965 transitioned quarters from 90% silver to copper-nickel clad due to rising silver prices, so a silver 1996 D quarter would be an anomaly of epic proportions, likely discovered in circulation by a lucky individual or dealer. Die cracks and die breaks, such as the spitting eagle or broken wing error, where a crack in the reverse die leaves a raised line or mark near the eagle's wing or the letters E and D in united, also enhance a coin's value. A 1996 D quarter with a prominent die crack, especially one certified by PCGS or NGC, could sell for hundreds or thousands, as seen with a 1996 P quarter discussed on the NGC Coin Collectors Forum, which featured a unique die break error. A retained cud, where a piece of the die breaks off but remains attached, creating a raised blob on the coin, is another rare error that could push a 1996 D quarter's value into the thousands, as evidenced by similar errors on 2005 P West Virginia quarters valued at $14.95 to $59.95. Repunched mint marks, where the D mint mark is struck multiple times with slight misalignment, are less common in 1996 due to improved minting technology but still occur, adding a premium of $20 to $50 for minor examples, though a dramatic repunch could fetch more. Annealing errors, where the coin is overheated in the annealing drum, resulting in uneven coloration or a blackened appearance, are also collectible, though less valuable than mechanical errors, typically adding $10 to $100 depending on severity. The condition of the coin is paramount in determining its value, as the Sheldon scale, used by professional numismatists since the 1970s, grades coins from 1 to 70, with MS68 and above being exceptionally rare for 1996 D quarters due to the wear and tear of circulation. A 1996 D quarter graded MS68 by PCGS, with a double die or off-center strike, could command hundreds or thousands, but the $19 million figure likely stems from a hypothetical perfect storm, a coin with multiple errors, e.g., a double die obverse combined with an off-center strike on a wrong planchet, graded MS70, and sold in a frenzied auction environment. The numismatic market is driven by supply and demand, and with only a handful of 1996 D quarters graded MS68, fewer than 50 by PCGS, and none known at MS70, a coin with such characteristics would be a once-in-a-lifetime find. Auction records provide context. A 1996 P quarter graded MS60 with a double die sold for $6,900 in 2003, and a 1996 D MS68 quarter fetched $447 in 2013, but these prices reflect single-error coins in less than perfect condition. A 1996 D quarter with multiple dramatic errors, pristine surfaces, and a perfect grade could theoretically escalate into the millions, as seen with other ultra-rare error coins like the 1969 S double die Lincoln Cent, which sold for over $1 million. The $19 million valuation may also be fueled by speculative hype on platforms like eBay or numismatic forums, where collectors and dealers discuss dream coins that combine rarity, condition, and historical intrigue. Sites like CoinValueChecker.com and UseAtCoinBook.com note that while circulated 1996 D quarters are worth 25 cents, uncirculated examples in MS67 are valued at $22. And MS68 at $360, but these are for error-free coins. Error coins, especially those with multiple or severe anomalies, defy standard pricing, as collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for unique pieces. The 1996 D quarter's potential $19 million price tag could also reflect a specific coin with a storied provenance, perhaps one discovered in circulation and authenticated by PCGS or NGC, then hyped in the numismatic community as a Holy Grail coin. The San Francisco Mint's 1996 S silver-proof quarters, valued at $334 for a PR70 deep cameo in 2006, provide a benchmark for high-value 1996 quarters, but a 1996 D error coin would surpass this due to its unexpected nature. Collectors also value coins with historical context, and the 1996 quarter, part of the Washington series since 1932, carries the legacy of commemorating George Washington, with its design unchanged since the Coinage Act of 1965 mandated clad compositions. The rarity of errors in modern coins, due to advanced minting technology, makes any 1996 D quarter with a significant error a standout, as the Denver Mint's quality control typically caught such mistakes. Searching for these valuable errors requires patience and tools like a 10x magnifying loupe, as subtle double dies or die cracks may be invisible to the naked eye. Coin roll hunting, examining uncirculated bank rolls from 1996, offers the best chance of finding these rarities, as noted by markedmoney.tech, which advises collectors to check behind Washington's earlobe for double die varieties. Online marketplaces like eBay and collectors.com are treasure troves for finding listed errors, with some 1,996 quarters fetching premiums for minor errors, though none have publicly sold for $19 million, suggesting the figure may be aspirational or tied to a private sale. The numismatic community thrives on such discoveries, with forums like Coin Community and ncaa's boards buzzing with discussions of unique finds, like a 1996 P quarter with a spitting eagle error. The allure of a $19 million 1996 D quarter lies in its improbability, a common coin transformed by minting mishaps into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece, driven by rarity, condition, and collector passion. Whether it's a double die, off-center strike, wrong planchet, or a combination of errors, the 1996 D quarter's potential to command such a price underscores the magic of coin collecting, where a single quarter in your pocket could be a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Next, let's dive into the fascinating world of numismatics, where a seemingly ordinary 1994 P Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, could command an astonishing $15 million due to its rare and extraordinary errors, making it one of the most coveted coins in modern collecting history. The 1994 P quarter, part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, is typically a common coin with a mintage of over 825 million pieces, valued at just 25 cents in circulated condition or up to $10 in pristine uncirculated grades like MS-67. However, specific minting errors and anomalies can elevate this everyday coin to a numismatic treasure, fetching millions at auction due to their rarity, collector demand, and the unique stories they tell about the minting process. To understand why a 1994 P quarter could be worth such an exorbitant sum, we need to explore the intricate details of its design, the types of errors that could occur, the historical context of its production, and the factors that drive its value to stratospheric heights in the collector's market. The Washington quarter, designed by John Flanagan, features George Washington's portrait on the obverse, with the inscriptions "Liberty" above, "In God We Trust" to the left, and the year 1994 below, sometimes accompanied by a P mint mark to indicate Philadelphia. The reverse showcases a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows and olive branches, with "United States of America" arcing above, "E pluribus unum" below the eagle's head, and $quarter at the bottom. The coin is made of a clad composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel over a pure copper core, measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters thick, and weighing 5.67 grams, with a reeded edge. This standard design, unchanged from 1932 to 1998, was meant to be durable and cost-effective after the silver content was removed in 1965 due to rising silver prices. However, it's the deviations from the standard, errors and mistakes during the minting process, that transform an ordinary quarter into a multimillion-dollar rarity. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production of a coin, whether in the preparation of the planchet, the blank metal disc, the striking process, or the dies used to imprint the design. These errors are rare because the U.S. Mint employs rigorous quality control, but with millions of coins produced, occasional slip-ups create unique specimens that collectors prize. Let's start with one of the most valuable potential errors for a 1994 P quarter, the missing clad layer error. This occurs when the copper-nickel cladding is not properly bonded to the copper core, resulting in a coin that appears copper-colored on one or both sides, resembling a penny but with a quarter's design. For example, a 1994 P quarter missing the clad layer on the reverse, exposing the copper core, would have a normal silver-colored obverse but a penny-like reverse. Such errors are highly sought after because they are visually striking and extremely rare, with only a handful known to exist. A documented case of a similar error, like a 1965 quarter missing a clad layer, sold for $211 at MS-64, but a pristine 1994 P example in a higher grade, certified by a grading service like PCGS or ncaa, could fetch exponentially more due to its scarcity and condition, potentially contributing to a $15 million valuation if it's a unique specimen. Another significant error is the double die error, where the die used to strike the coin has a double design due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. On a 1994 P quarter, this could manifest as doubling in the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," the date, 1994, or the P mint mark on the obverse, or in the eagle's feathers, arrows, or lettering like, $quarter on the reverse. A true double die error is distinct from machine doubling, which is less valuable and results from mechanical issues during striking, causing a slight, blurred secondary image. A 1994 P quarter with a prominent double die obverse, especially if certified as a new variety by numismatic experts, would be extraordinarily rare, as no major double die varieties are widely documented for this year. If such a coin were discovered, its uniqueness could drive its value into the millions, especially if graded MS67 or higher, where only a few examples exist. For instance, a 1994 P quarter in MS68, the highest grade known, sold for $8,156.25 in 2018, but a double die error in similar condition could easily multiply that value due to its rarity and collector appeal. Off-center strikes are another error that could elevate a 1994 P quarter's value. This happens when the planchet is misaligned during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted off the coin's edge. A 1994 P quarter struck 50% off-center, with significant portions of Washington's portrait or the eagle missing, could be valued between $50 and $300 in lower grades, but a dramatic off-center error in gem condition, MS65 or above, could command thousands or more. The more extreme the misalignment, the higher the value, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible, making it identifiable as a 1994 P coin. Clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a cutting error during planchet preparation, also add value, typically ranging from $25 to $150, but a severe clip in a high-grade coin could push the price higher. Another rare and valuable error is the wrong planchet error, where a 1994 P quarter is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or nickel planchet. This results in a smaller, lighter coin with the quarter's design, or in some cases, a quarter struck on a foreign coin planchet. For example, a 1994 P quarter struck on a 5-cent planchet would weigh approximately 5 grams instead of 5.67 grams and have a different appearance, making it a numismatic oddity. Such errors are exceptionally rare because planchets are sorted by size and weight, but mistakes happen, and a documented case could fetch tens of thousands or more, depending on the condition and the specific planchet used. A hypothetical 1994 P quarter struck on a silver planchet, a remnant from pre-1965 production, would be a once-in-a-lifetime find, potentially worth millions due to its impossibility under normal minting conditions. Multiple error coins, combining two or more mistakes, are even rarer and more valuable. Imagine a 1994 P quarter with a missing clad layer, an off-center strike, and a double die obverse. This combination would be a numismatic unicorn, likely unique in the world. Such a coin, if certified and graded highly, could justify a $15 million price tag due to its singular nature and the intense competition among high-end collectors at auction. The condition of the coin is paramount, as even minor errors in circulated grades are worth far less than those in uncirculated or gem grades. The Sheldon scale, used by numismatists, grades coins from 1, poor, to 70, perfect mint state, and for 1994 P quarters, coins in MS66 or higher are scarce, with fewer than 100 known in MS66 and only a dozen or so in MS67. An error coin in MS68, especially with multiple or dramatic errors, would be a top-tier rarity, driving its value exponentially. The Philadelphia Mint's high output in 1994, 825,600,000 quarters, means that most are common, but the sheer volume increases the chance of errors slipping through quality control. The Mint's equipment, under constant strain from producing millions of coins, could malfunction, leading to errors like die cracks, where a small fracture in the die leaves a raised line on the coin, or struck-through errors, where foreign material like grease or debris gets embedded in the coin during striking, creating a distorted design. A 1994 P quarter with a significant struck-through error, such as a large grease-filled die obscuring part of Washington's portrait, could be worth hundreds or thousands, depending on the severity and visual impact. Historical context also plays a role in the coin's value. In 1994, the U.S. Mint was focused on producing circulating coinage efficiently, and the Washington quarter was nearing the end of its original design run before the state quarters program began in 1999. The high mintage and lack of design changes meant fewer opportunities for intentional varieties, making errors the primary source of rarity. Collectors value these errors not just for their scarcity but for the insight they provide into the minting process, like a snapshot of a moment when human or mechanical error created something unique. The market for error coins is driven by supply and demand, with wealthy collectors and investors willing to pay premiums for coins that stand out. Auction records show that top-grade 1994 P quarters, even without errors, have sold for significant sums, $4,000 for an MS-68 in 2023, but error coins can far exceed this. For a 1994 P quarter to reach $15 million, it would likely need to be a combination of multiple dramatic errors, pristine condition, MS-67 or higher, and a unique provenance, such as being the only known example or having a documented history of discovery. The coin's certification by a reputable grading service like PCGS or ncaa is crucial, as it authenticates the errors and condition, boosting buyer confidence. Provenance, or the coin's ownership history, can also add value. A coin owned by a famous collector or featured in a major numismatic publication could command a premium. The psychology of collectors also drives prices, as the allure of owning a one-of-a-kind error coin fuels bidding wars at auctions. Hypothetically, a 1994 P quarter with a missing clad layer on both sides, a 75% off-center strike, a double die obverse, and a die crack through the eagle, graded MS-68, could be the kind of coin that shatters records, as it would be a singular artifact in numismatic history. The coin's rarity would be compounded by the fact that 1994 was not a year known for major errors, making any significant find a sensation in the collecting community. Additionally, the coin's condition would need to be impeccable, with no scratches, wear, or toning, as even minor imperfections can drastically reduce value in high-grade coins. The numismatic market in 2025 is robust, with growing interest in modern era coins as collectors seek alternatives to classic rarities like the 1804 silver dollar or 1913 Liberty Head nickel. The 1994 P quarter, while common in its standard form, becomes a holy grail when paired with extreme errors, as these coins are tangible pieces of history that survived the mint's quality control and decades of circulation or storage. The San Francisco Mint produced proof quarters in 1994, both in clad and silver, valued at $10 to $15 in perfect condition, but Philadelphia's business strikes are where the most dramatic errors occur due to the high-speed production of circulating coinage. Other potential errors include broad strikes, where the coin is struck without a retaining collar, resulting in a wider, thinner coin, or die chips, where small pieces of the die break off, leaving raised anomalies on the coin, such as a chip on Washington's forehead or the eagle's beak. Each of these errors, while valuable individually, could combine to create a coin of unparalleled rarity. The coin's value is also influenced by market trends, with error coins gaining popularity as collectors recognize their investment potential. A 1994 P quarter with a single minor error, like a small die crack, might sell for $50 to $100, but a coin with multiple, visually striking errors in top condition could attract bids from collectors worldwide, especially if it's the only known example. The numismatic community thrives on discovery, and finding a previously unknown error coin can create a frenzy, as seen with other modern coins like the 1969 double die Lincoln cent, which commands six-figure prices. For a 1994 P quarter to reach $15 million, it would need to be a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and market hype, possibly amplified by media coverage or a high-profile auction. The coin's story, perhaps found in pocket change or a forgotten collection, would add to its allure, making it a legend in numismatic circles. Ultimately, the value of such a coin lies in its ability to captivate collectors, offering a unique blend of history, artistry, and the thrill of the chase, transforming a humble quarter into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Next, let's dive into the fascinating world of numismatics, where a seemingly ordinary 1996 P Washington quarter dollar can transform into a treasure worth an astonishing $29 million due to its rare errors and mistakes, captivating collectors and investors alike with its hidden value and intriguing imperfections that elevate it far beyond its 25-cent face value. The 1996 P quarter, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, is part of the iconic Washington Quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to honor the first U.S. President, George Washington, with a design by John Flanagan featuring Washington's bust on the obverse and a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch on the reverse, inscribed with United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. Struck in a copper-nickel composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, over a pure copper core, This coin measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters thick, weighs 5.67 grams, and has 119 reeds along its edge, making it a standard piece of U.S. currency in 1996, when the Philadelphia Mint produced a staggering 925,040,000 quarters, flooding circulation with coins that, at first glance, seem common and unremarkable. Yet, within this massive mintage lies the potential for extraordinary rarities, as certain errors and varieties can turn an everyday quarter into a numismatic masterpiece, coveted for its scarcity, condition, and the unique flaws that make it a standout in the coin-collecting world. To understand why a 1996 P quarter could command such an astronomical price, we must explore the specific errors and mistakes that can occur during the minting process, each contributing to the coin's rarity and desirability, from double dies to off-center strikes, clipped planchets, annealing errors, and more, all of which can drastically increase its value when combined with pristine condition and collector demand. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, DDO, where the coin's design appears duplicated due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, creating a distinct doubling effect, particularly noticeable behind Washington's earlobe or in the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust, with a 1996 PDDO quarter-graded MS-60 famously selling for $6,900 in 2003, hinting at the potential for even higher values in higher grades or with more pronounced doubling. This doubling occurs when the die receives multiple impressions from the hub at slightly different angles, resulting in raised, rounded duplications that are highly prized, especially if the spread between the doubled images is wide and clear under a magnifying loupe, as subtle machine doubling, caused by mechanical issues rather than die preparation, is far less valuable. Another significant error is the off-center strike, where the coin is misaligned during striking, causing the design to shift away from the center, sometimes leaving a crescent-shaped unstruck area. A 1996 P quarter double struck with a second strike 96% off-center and graded $58 by PCGS showcases this dramatic error, which can fetch substantial premiums due to its visual appeal and rarity, as the mint typically catches such mistakes before coins enter circulation. Clipped planchet errors also add value, occurring when the coin blank is improperly cut, resulting in a curved or straight edge where part of the design is missing, resembling a bite taken out of the coin, which collectors find intriguing for its uniqueness, especially if multiple clips are present or if the clip affects critical design elements like Washington's portrait or the date. Annealing errors, caused by prolonged exposure in the annealing drum, create uneven coloration or a mottled appearance on the coin's surface, disrupting the expected lustrous finish and making such quarters stand out, as seen in discussions on coin forums like Reddit, where collectors marvel at the odd, discolored surfaces of 1996 P quarters, which can elevate their worth when paired with other factors like high grade or additional errors. Repunched mint marks, though less common since the P mint mark was applied directly to the die by 1996, can occur in rare instances where the mint mark is struck multiple times, creating a faint secondary impression, adding to the coin's uniqueness and value. Die cracks, another collectible error, manifest as raised lines or fractures on the coin's surface, such as those noted between the eagle's wing and the letters E and D in United on some 1996 P quarters, indicating stress in the die during striking, with severe cracks or breaks, like the spitting eagle or broken wing errors, commanding significant attention and higher prices due to their distinctiveness. A particularly rare and valuable possibility is a 1996 P quarter struck on the wrong planchet, such as a silver planchet intended for proof coins or even a blank meant for another denomination, like a dime or nickel, which would alter the coin's weight. A silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams compared to 5.67 grams for clad and composition, making it a numismatic unicorn that could justify a multi-million-dollar valuation if authenticated and graded highly, as wrong metal strikes are among the rarest and most coveted errors. Double denomination errors, where a quarter is struck over a previously struck coin of another denomination, are extraordinarily rare but could theoretically occur if a 1996 P quarter were restruck over, say, a dime or cent, creating a dual design coin that would captivate collectors and drive its value into the millions, as seen with other denominations where such errors have fetched seven-figure sums. Overstrikes or multi-strikes, where the coin is hit multiple times by the die, often off-center or at different angles, produce chaotic, overlapping designs that are visually striking and rare, further boosting value, especially if the coin remains in uncirculated condition. The condition of the coin is paramount, as even minor wear can drastically reduce value. A 1996 P quarter in MS-68, the highest grade recorded for a regular strike, sold for $1,998 in 2012, but with errors like a DDO or off-center strike, A coin in near-perfect MS-69 or MS-70 condition could theoretically approach or exceed $29 million if it captures the imagination of wealthy collectors at auction, where competitive bidding often inflates prices for unique specimens. The rarity of these errors is amplified by the fact that the U.S. Mint employs rigorous quality control, meaning only a tiny fraction of the 925 million 1996 P-quarters escaped with significant errors, and even fewer survived in pristine condition due to heavy circulation. Silver-proof quarters, primarily minted in San Francisco with an S mint mark, add another layer of intrigue, as a 1996 P-quarter mistakenly struck in silver would be an extraordinary anomaly, potentially worth millions due to its composition error, especially if it exhibits additional flaws like a double die or off-center strike. The historical context of 1996 quarters also plays a role, as they predate the popular statehood quarters series launched in 1999, making high-grade or error-laden examples from this year less scrutinized at the time but now highly sought after by collectors aiming to complete sets or acquire rarities from the waning years of the classic Washington quarter design. The numismatic market further fuels this value, as collectors on platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and USA Coin Book actively seek out error coins, with documented sales of 1996 P-quarters in MS-60 to MS-68 fetching hundreds to thousands of dollars, suggesting that a coin with multiple errors, say, a DDO combined with an off-center strike and a die crack, in flawless condition could command an 8-figure price in today's heated market, where rare coins are seen as both collectibles and investments. The allure of such a coin lies not only in its physical attributes but also in its story, a mistake made during a routine minting process in 1996, overlooked by inspectors, circulated briefly or preserved by chance, and now celebrated as a one-of-a-kind artifact that encapsulates the imperfections of mass production and the thrill of discovery. Collectors are advised to examine their 1996 P-quarters closely, using a magnifying loupe to check for doubling behind Washington's ear, irregular edges, unusual coloration, or off-center designs, and to weigh the coin to detect potential wrong metal strikes, as these subtle clues could reveal a hidden gem. Online communities like Coin Community Forum and Reddit's r/coin collecting buzz with discussions about such finds, with collectors sharing images of die cracks, annealing errors, and other anomalies that hint at the potential for a $29 million discovery lurking in pocket change or bank rolls. The possibility of such a high-value coin also underscores the importance of professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC, as authentication and a high grade like MS-70 or PR-70 Deep Cameo can exponentially increase a coin's market value, especially for errors that are visually striking or historically significant. While no single 1996 P-quarter has been documented selling for $29 million, the combination of multiple rare errors, pristine condition, and the right auction environment could theoretically push a coin's value to that level, as seen with other ultra-rare error coins like the 1969 Lincoln Cent DDO, which has fetched millions. The speculative nature of this valuation hinges on the coin's uniqueness, the intensity of collector demand, and the narrative appeal of owning a piece of numismatic history that embodies the rare convergence of minting mistakes, making the 1996 P-quarter a tantalizing prospect for anyone hoping to uncover a fortune in their change.